Blog Talk Radio.
And our next guest is Dwayne Northrup, and Dwayne is the CEO and founder of Garlic Jim's famous gourmet pizza. And Garlic Jim's are known for making the most delicious gourmet pizza and at the same time providing excellent and fast service to your door. They've also sold nearly 100 franchises in 6 states in the first 2.5 years of operation. Dwayne, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Good morning, guys. How are you?
Morning, Dwayne. Dwayne, joining us is my co-host, Don Johnson, who's also the president of Diamond Financial Services of New Jersey. I know you wanted to say hi, Don.
Hi, Don.
Hi, Dwayne. Happy New Year. How are you?
Thank you.
I see you're coming to New Jersey here at some stores. You have a few under development?
We do. We have a sub-franchise, Francept Corporation out in New Jersey, Eastern Pennsylvania, Northern New Jersey. They've opened a first store in Pennsylvania, and they're actively selling franchises now.
That's great. Yeah, that's where I am, Dwayne. Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm actually out in Williams Township, Pennsylvania, which is about 3 miles from Easton.
Oh, good.
Yeah, not that far, so that's fantastic. That's great. Dwayne, I wanted to thank you for coming on this show today and congratulate you on the tremendous growth and success of Garlic Jim's. Pizza Marketplace had you listed as one of the 4 chains to watch in 2007, and as I mentioned in the introduction, you guys have sold nearly 100 franchises in 6 states in your first 2.5 years of operation. I also read in magazines like QSR that Garlic Jim's has one of the nicest pizza lobbies that you've ever seen, so needless to say, you're doing a great job.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. I know it's early where you are, Dwayne. Can you tell our guests where you're calling from today?
Well, I'm up in Everett, Washington. It's just a little north of Seattle, so it's part of the Seattle metro area.
Right. I'm familiar with Everett. So about, it's like 20, 30 miles from Seattle?
Yeah, about 20 miles north of Seattle.
Okay, that's great.
So right on the I-5, so our commissary truck runs up and down the I-5 down to Portland.
Right, absolutely. That's great. Dwayne, what were you doing?
Seahawks, too.
Yeah. Are you a Seahawks fan, Dwayne?
Oh, absolutely. The 10 o'clock Pacific time game doesn't help sell pizzas, though, that we had the other day.
Right.
Dwayne, what were you doing before starting Garlic Jim's famous gourmet pizza? It seems like you had a lot of industry experience.
Well, I've been in the pizza business since '91. I've managed and supervised for multiple companies, both national chains and regional, more gourmet or eclectic pizza places. Really doing everything from starting as a pizza driver through by sort of supervision, working the commissary, franchise sales, and so forth.
Which is great, which is very important.
Yeah, it gave me an opportunity to see between the 2 major sections, I think of them as major sectors, the mom and pops and then the big national delivery guys, the differences in who's doing what, and really it was the foundation of what Garlic Jim's is, bringing those 2 together and saying, hey, we're going to take that great, artichoke heart pesto sauce pizza with whole milk mozzarella that they're making at the mom and pop shop, and we're going to get it to your door just as fast as the national guys.
Absolutely.
All dressed in, nice uniforms with car top signs on.
Right.
So, Dwayne, that sounded like a reason for starting Garlic Jim's. Were there other reasons why you started up the franchise?
Well, no, to be honest with you, that is pretty much it right there. Over my years, I'd met people from, not only my industry, but other industries as well, some Quiznos guys who had done some franchise sales and some real estate. I had a good friend at Domino's that was, he had 900 stores in the West Coast as a senior consultant he was in charge of. And I had some other buddies that were running a $1 million a year carry-out and delivery pizza place, 1,200 square feet. They're doing $1 million a year delivering pizza. And we all collectively came to the conclusion that there was a big void. We first were calling it a niche, but it's really a void in the pizza industry where you can get great pizza delivered quickly. And so we kind of put the team together really for minute one for that concept, for that idea, saying, look, what do we have to do to put a good team of people together here that can go out and fill this void in the pizza business and the pizza industry and fill it quickly, expand rapidly, and at the same time support those people and those franchises as we grow.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was reading an article of an interview with you, Dwayne, where you said you had enough of leaving home for your favorite pizza, and I guess that's how you kind of sort of came up with the concept, which is I think, brilliant.
Well, you're sitting around the house and you've got 4 or 5 different choices for pizza delivery, and none of them are appetizing. You got to do something. You got to take action.
I agree, absolutely. You certainly have a niche.
It's all about filling a niche and feeling you can do it a little better.
Mm-hmm.
And so interesting. Can you describe, Dwayne, a little bit the history of the organization for us, please?
Well, as I mentioned just a bit ago, we really the history of the organization starts with a group of folks that I kind of put together, put everybody in touch with in late 2003, and I guess we legally incorporated in December 2003, but in January 2004 we purchased an existing pizza place in Bellevue, Washington. Got in there, formulated all of our dough recipes and our menu and such, and reopened it in March of 2004 as the first Garlic Jim's. We then went out on the Issaquah Plateau, another suburb of out there by Redmond and Bellevue. Redmond is a town you'll recognize the name. Bunch of Microsoft guys out there. Went up there and opened what is the model store. So every Garlic Jim's looks like the Klahani store. That's where we went in with our architect, who's a partner as well, and put together a lobby that looks like a Starbucks, if you will.
Right.
You know, you alluded to it earlier, that comment, the best, nicest looking pizza delivery lobby you've ever seen, and that's wood and copper, and it's just it's a nice upscale, warm feeling. And behind the counter is a very is a pizza delivery kitchen. You know, I mean, why reinvent the wheel? It's behind the counter. It looks like a Domino's pizza. Why? Because they know how to make a pizza fast. So every one of our stores, that's the component of it that doesn't change. So when we're out looking, our real estate guys are out looking for 1,200, 1,300, 1,400 square feet. It can come in all funny different sizes, but the kitchen doesn't change, and that's a key part of our system, I think, as well. And I may be rambling on to questions you might have been asking later, but a key part of our system is making sure we can get that pizza in the oven in 2 minutes, so it's out and ready for the driver in 10, so we can compete with the Domino's, the Papa John's, the Pizza Hut, getting to the door in 20, 25 minutes.
Absolutely.
If we can do that, if we get to the door in 25 minutes, we're going to beat those guys every time, because there's just no comparison between 100% whole milk mozzarella and frozen pizza cheese.
I agree. Absolutely.
It's all about consistency and being better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And consistency is the key as well, from store to store, state to state. A big part of our system is system, and we pride ourselves on being and having system throughout. Anywhere from before you buy your franchise, we've already mapped the market, and we've put potential trade areas up for sale that meet a certain demographic profile of people that have the expendable income to pay $20 for an artichoke heart pesto sauce pizza. So, in Seattle area, for instance, there's 60-plus Domino's pizzas. We have 40 trade areas. We just won't put a store everywhere a Domino's is, because we're only going to put a store in an area that we think the franchisee can be successful with a high price point.
Exactly. It's a different demographic, I imagine, too, Dwayne.
Absolutely. It is.
Okay. That's good. There's a big question. You kind of hit some of the key points, Dwayne, but how would you describe the Garlic Jim's famous gourmet pizza franchise system?
Oh, I describe it as thorough, very. The first step I just talked about there with buying your trade area, and then we have a real estate team, and our real estate team goes and helps you negotiate your lease and find space, and so they know what they're looking for. They know how a Garlic Jim's would fit in that space, and they know, they help you do things, get free rent and tenant improvements, and we have a standard shell exhibit. We ask the landlord to try to make the space like this and put in the gas and so forth.
Right.
And then we supply all the equipment. We do it as a service, so we're always trying to be price competitive. So we want to be just as be competitive with say the Seattle restaurant store or whoever the local equipment vendor is in your town. But where we really come in as a service there is the equipment is exactly what we need.
Right.
And it fits exactly with the architectural drawing. We use, once again, our architect. We have multiple contractors in different towns to choose from, but you choose a contractor off our list, and that contractor has been vetted. They understand they have to build the store in 5 weeks, and they have to meet this time schedule, and when they turn in their schedule to our equipment guy in-house here, that it's a firm schedule. So if the floor is going down on Thursday, that means that we're delivering the walk-in cooler in the oven on Friday. And that's how we keep the process going. So you, the franchisee, you're not running around looking for equipment. You're not trying to say, where's the oven, where's this? You're out marketing. You're out promoting your open and hiring and training people.
Which is important.
Exactly, to support your open bid.
It's really turnkey. I know from helping people nationwide with financing, I know a lot of times doing probably the toughest process is finding the lease location. Isn't that tough at times?
It is the most frustrating part. For sure. It's the one where we have the least control over the timeline. So, and it comes right after you purchased. So, you come out of the purchase process excited, wanting to get going. We have a series of meetings. Our operations team has a what we call an owner's meeting with you right after you purchase, where they lay out the steps in the process, and then you have a meeting with the real estate team, and then they start looking for real estate. And unfortunately, that's the part. You pick a trade area. Let's say you pick the township of what have you. They go out and they look for real estate in that area, and there might be something available. There might not. There might be something available that's no good. There might be the perfect spot available. But then you have to play with landlords who are out on their jet ski or what have you. And, so it can be frustrating. But what we really try to do with our professional team is we think we get through the process quicker with more benefit to the franchisee than if they were just out on their own looking. And once we get once permits are in hand and once construction starts, we really drive the process from there. And we have a very thorough, what we call a 9-week opening plan. And it starts the day construction starts. And it's really a grassroots marketing and recruiting and training plan. And the first 5 weeks of it, the store's under construction, but the franchisee's out, like I said before, mapping their area, finding all the churches, all the community centers, schools, so forth and so on. The community bulletin boards, and really laying the foundation for what comes next, which is very grassroots and very sample-oriented, sampling pizzas. We've got great pizza. It's a fantastic pizza. And if we go to an apartment complex, for instance, 2 weeks before open, and from 5 to 7, we're downstairs in the cabana giving out free slices of pizza. Well, everybody comes down. And they come down, they eat the product, they say, holy mackerel, this is better. And we have, coupons and menus and refrigerator magnets there, and then we say, but we're not open yet.
Exactly.
Two more weeks. We'll be open, a week from Tuesday. And they go, ooh, and they start telling their friends, and it creates a buzz.
A nice buzz, and you're whetting their appetite.
Absolutely. And then we have very large opens, and we just believe in a big open.
That's fantastic. Yeah, it's very systematic, Dwayne. So I was even reading, in I think it was QSR magazine, you guys have like a digital scale with like a pair feature to portion like the toppings. I mean, it's incredible. It's very, very systematic. So.
Well, we think we've got a bunch of guys in with a bunch of years of experience, and one of the things after we sat down, the initial group of guys, the founders, if you will, and put the team together, both ownership and then the management team, we looked at our business model and said, gosh, there's nothing that we're trying to do here that one or all of us haven't already done.
Right, absolutely.
So in a way, it's old hat. Although it's new and it's fresh and it's exciting and we're growing like gangbusters, we're not out on a limb. We know what we're doing.
Absolutely. How big is the industry, Dwayne?
The numbers range from $33 to $40 billion. It's
right.
The pizza's here. Pizza's here to stay. It's only growing, and it's becoming more popular. Age group after age group started with the kids, and now I think we're up to maybe even up as 24 or 28 years of age. People prefer pizza over burgers. Pizza's become their favorite meal. And really, over my years in the industry, I've noticed pizza delivery becoming more and more recession-proof. Back in the early '90s, there was a little recession there, and it kind of hurt the pizza delivery biz a bit.
Right.
And then really just this last one that we had there in 2002, early 2003, it really didn't. Pizza delivery is becoming part of people's life. It's not a convenience anymore.
Absolutely.
It's what you do. Mom and dad both work, and the kids are running the soccer and this and that. You have pizza delivered.
Certainly, yeah. And I've seen that stat, Dwayne, is that Americans eat approximately 100 acres of pizza each day, or about 350 slices per second. That's incredible.
That's a lot.
It's fast, simple. You don't have to clean dishes. You're right. People decide there's only a few real options, and pizza's always a big one to consider. So,
absolutely.
And with Garlic Jim's, for instance, there's just better pizza. Now pizza's not just something that you put on par with McDonald's or a quick burger. It can become it's a gourmet meal. Add a chopped salad or a chicken Caesar salad to it for mom, and she can have a slice of the pesto sauce artichoke heart pizza with her salad, and that became a great meal.
Absolutely. And you guys got the great slogan, too, Dwayne. I thought it was very creative. Gourmet right away.
Yeah, well, that really says exactly what we're doing.
Absolutely.
It's very clever. Yeah, we thought, that's one of those, brainstormings. You sit there and everyone's throwing out things. And I don't remember whose mouth that one actually came out of, but when it did, everyone, ooh, that says exactly what we're doing right there.
I agree. That's something.
Dwayne, what type of characteristics you feel make a successful Garlic Jim's pizza franchisee?
Well, you have to be, obviously, any entrepreneur or franchisee, you want to say, they're hardworking and so forth. But really, our best franchisees are those who, because we're so systems-oriented, they're folks who understand they're buying a system. And I say that only because, entrepreneur and franchisee are sometimes can mean two different things. And a lot of entrepreneurs are very independent-minded. And to be a really good entrepreneur, you should be, very resourceful as well.
Right.
But a franchisee, you really have to, if you're buying a franchise, you already recognize that you want somebody else's formula for success. You don't want to risk going out on your own and starting, Dave's Pizza or what have you, Marty's Pizza, Don's Pizza.
Absolutely.
And trying to reinvent the wheel. Let's take some success that somebody else already had and let's duplicate that. And so the most successful Garlic Jim's franchisees, and we've got them from single store operators to multi-store guys that work in the store every day, and guys that have 3 stores and they pop in and they supervise using some of our multi-store supervision tools and materials, and they're equally successful because they're running their store according to our system. They're not trying to reinvent the wheel.
So you don't care if they've never had food experience or even have owned the business before, just someone you feel can work hard and follow the system, basically.
You know what, and that's absolutely true. It's funny. We had some preconceived notions coming in of who we were looking for, and it's proven to be more of just a character study. As you sit and you talk with people, and you really get an idea for is this person going to do it our way? Do they believe? Do they understand that they're buying a system? And really, if that's the key, and if they understand that and they believe that, and they say, yeah, show me what to do. You tell me what to do. I see this working in other stores. I see the guys that are most successful. I talk to them, and the first thing they say is, hey, follow the system. It works. If they say that, then business experience or restaurant experience or even pizza experience really is not as big a factor.
Absolutely. Dwayne, are you able to stick around for another segment?
Sure, absolutely. I'd love to.
That's great.
Blog Talk Radio.
And today we're with Dwayne Northup, who is the founder of Garlic Jim's. And Dwayne, I think where we left off, I wanted to, you kind of hinted on some of the aspects, a little bit about the training for new franchisees. Do you want to just cover some other points on the training?
Well, sure. We have an extensive 20-week, or maybe it's more like a 20-part manager training program. And for franchisees, we condense that down to 4 weeks.
Okay.
So you start your franchise training, it's in the store, and you've got 4 weeks just solid in the store. Really, like a condensed manager training program. And that can be done either here in Seattle, here in Everett, one of our corporate stores here, or we have certified training partners in the markets that we're in. So if you buy a franchise in Portland or in Phoenix, one of the franchisees down there is following our system, working with our training department, making sure that they are using all the material and training properly, and you can train locally there. In addition to the 4 weeks, we then also have what we call week 5, which doesn't have to happen at one time, but it's a series of seminar-type classes, PowerPoint presentations on marketing and bookkeeping and topics like that, and that's what we call week 5. And then, of course, we're at your store for your open for the week before and the week of open.
Right.
So we will help you and continue to train with you on the spot the week before you open and through opening week and help train your crew as well.
That's interesting. I know that new franchisees, I was reading something too, Dwayne, I guess they're given a manual on the real estate and production as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this owners meeting I mentioned earlier is the first meeting you have after buying your franchise. You meet our ops department, our franchise support team, and it's a 150-page book that steps you through what we've dubbed the 20 steps to opening. And it starts with, letter of intent with real estate, and then it moves on through there, everything from signing your lease to ordering your equipment, getting your permits, so forth and so on, all the way through opening. And part of that is, a big real estate manual.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. It's a big question. What's a typical day like as a Garlic Jim's famous gourmet pizza franchisee?
Well, it will, obviously differ depending on if you're a single store guy versus a multiple store guy. But I'll tell you what, in any case, what it doesn't include, and it doesn't include chopping vegetables or, meeting with multiple vendors. And that's because we have a commissary system. Right. And our commissary we make all the pizza dough. We deliver to your store every 3 days with pizza dough, with cheese, sliced vegetables, everything you need. So the store is just an assemble and bake. And the benefit there to the franchisee, and that's a big part of our system, is really twofold. One, it allows your management to not, at the end of the night, it's easy especially for a multiple store franchisee who's hired managers. You have the order guide right there. You fill it out. You put it through the fax machine. Bada bing, bada boom. Right. Part of our training, one of the steps in the 20 steps of the manager training is ideal ordering and calculating your food orders and so forth, managing your inventory and so forth. So that's a nice, easy step. The other thing is it makes the stores. You're not buying a job where you, the single store franchisee, have to get to work at 1 in the afternoon to slice mushrooms and green peppers all day long before you open for dinner at 4 o'clock. You can spend that time out marketing. Now it's promoting. You can be, instead of in the back, like I said, slicing up things, you can be out front working with your kids on working with them on their phone etiquette, make sure they're upselling, looking at the quality of the product. And then also the one-stop shopping is also big in that it lets you, again, focus on your business and not get distracted. And that's a personal experience. I left Domino's Pizza sometime in the mid-'90s and started a single restaurant with a friend of mine. And one of the things I realized a couple, 3-4 months into it is that I wasn't, running my kitchen. I wasn't running my store in the sense that I had known as a store manager and as a supervisor. I was in the back meeting with I'm playing the cheese guy, I'm playing Cisco against, FLA or what have you, multi-foods. I've got a cheese vendor, I've got a bread vendor, I've got Coca-Cola, you name it. I had all these people I was meeting with, throw in there the Advo guy and the Valpak guy and the money mailer guy. And, I'm in the back of the little office I made for myself in the back of the store. I'm a big shot. I'm a business owner. Look at me. I'm doing all these things, right? And
very attractive.
That's all great, but takes time. But what are you losing out on? Yeah. Like you mentioned before, an important point, you have to be out there trying to concentrate on sales.
Right. Who's running my business? Who's talking to my customers? I'm in the back trying to save a penny on cheese, and the kids up front are putting 3 extra ounces of cheese on every pizza.
Exactly. You're working in the business and not on the business, Dwayne.
The breakdown of the system, we're wearing too many hats. With your system, that's all cut out. It's interesting. Many of our listeners, Dwayne, of course, are aspiring entrepreneurs. What advice would you give to them looking to buy a franchise?
I'm going to come back to your level of individuality. I think it makes a big difference. And there's a lot of different franchise systems out there. Some of them are very turnkey, like we are. Some of them leave you a lot of room for your own individuality, your own play. Find the one that matches your own level of individuality. If you're someone who's, you just got to do it your way, but you know you should buy a franchise because everybody tells you, all the statistics say franchises succeed, and doing it on your own you don't. I don't know the numbers that are out there, 8-1 and that kind of thing. Then you should look for a franchise that gives you the room to play and so forth. And we're not the only guys out there that are, very regimented, but we feel like that's a benefit, and we just need to make sure that we find people that understand that and believe in that to fit into our system. So if you're someone who says, hey, you know what, I just want to make some money, I want to make a return on my investment, I want to have fun in a growth industry, but hey, I don't know what, the first thing about pizza, you show me, you tell me what to do, and I'll do it, then we're the franchise for you.
We started out the show, we've been talking about the UFOC and people doing their due diligence, and I guess that's the part of anybody considering a franchise is doing that, and I guess that's something else that you would highly recommend too, Dwayne?
Oh, absolutely. You'd be surprised how many people don't read the UFOC or the franchise agreement.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. And really, what's interesting, in our first year of selling franchises, we sold some 40 some odd franchises in the first year. We didn't have any marketing material for selling franchises. Somebody would call from an ad we ran in the local newspaper in Seattle or Portland, and we'd send them a UFOC.
Right.
It doesn't have neat pictures on it. It doesn't have a bunch of sales pitch or whatever. It's just, a big fat legal document.
Exactly.
And people would get it. And some people call back with questions, and some would say, "Okay, got this big book. Could I come to her store and eat a pizza?"
Absolutely.
and so we get ranges and questions from people who obviously read it. And
right.
Lots of questions, and then people, others
who have it.
Who have it. And really, I encourage people to read it because it does tell you a lot. Now, you guys have obviously read multiple UFOC and franchise agreements, and a lot of it's boilerplate, and a lot of it's legalese, and sometimes it's hard to read. But the more of them you read, and if you look around other people, you start to see some consistencies within industries, and even crossing from, say, pizza to sandwiches, but still in quick service like Quiznos or Subway. And it's good to recognize those and see what's the same from place to place. And then you need to understand what you're getting into, especially with a concept as system-oriented as ours, because that gets back to that. You have to get back to the franchise agreement to say, hey, look, this is what you agreed to do. This is what you signed on to do. We're going to give you this. We're going to teach you this, and then you're going to, uphold the image. You're going to, it's like you guys talked about earlier about everything needs to be the same from unit to unit. So that means everything needs to be the same. You have to have your uniform on. You have to have your hat on. You have to light your car tops on, because that's how we brand. And,
right, absolutely.
And you have to.
Yeah, let's have another quick question, Dwayne, before we find out what the future Garlic Jim's is. I really like the name of the company. How'd you come up with the Garlic Jim's name?
Well, that's another bit of the guys we were sitting around brainstorming. We knew we wanted to say pizza without being Italian. We're not old Italian guys, we're not Papa whoever's,
Right.
And so, garlic. We got the garlic pretty early on because it says pizza, it says upscale, it says fresh, healthy. We really liked that early on. We didn't know what we were going to do with it, so we had everything from garlic this to this garlic or whatever, and somehow Jim just stuck. One of probably 200. There's no Jim. We have no Jim in our organization. That might be why it stuck. I think Garlic Dwayne's was shot down.
Why not Garlic Donna's?
Garlic Marty's.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That sounds better, actually.
It's very clever. Yeah, it's the power of brainstorming, Dwayne. It works.
Oh, absolutely. You put a bunch of good people in a room, and good stuff comes out of it.
Absolutely. I know, Don, we wanted to ask about the future, Dwayne, of, how big would you guys like to get?
Well, when we, again, sitting in the room in late December 2003, putting a business model, we looked, and at that time, to be in the top 10 pizza chains in the country, you had to have somewhere around 450, 460 units, depending on how they made the list, either by average unit, by total annual sales or by units. You do the list by sales, and it starts including some of the big guys. Chuck E. Cheese's have $2 million per unit, and it's not really indicative of a pizza delivery shop.
Right, absolutely.
But so we came out of that, and we said, okay, 500 units. In 10 years, we want to have 500 open units. And so we built our sub-franchise sales model with figuring a lead time from sold franchise to open franchise of 9 to 10 months on an average. So that would average in guys who bought 2 stores, and you give them the second year to open the next one. And so we built out our model to be way ahead of that. And we figure we'll probably end up to meet our goal to have the day we open the 500th store, we'll probably have well over 1,000 franchises sold.
Well, I think you guys are going to do it, and I'm looking forward to getting some Garlic Jim's. It's great to hear that you guys are, in this area. So I'm going to have to make a point of getting there. And Dwayne, I want to thank you. You've been a fantastic guest. We're going to have you back on the show because I think there's more to talk about, especially as you guys grow. What's the best way to get in touch with you, Dwayne?
Well, obviously, www.garlicgyms.com has a franchise page there. You can click on through and put in a submission, and one of David Gallersrud, our Vice President of Sales, or one of our salesmen, will give you a call back.
All right, great.
Good, Dwayne. I look forward to seeing you in New Jersey here.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Dwayne. Talk to you soon, Dwayne. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Good luck.
That was great, Don. Another great interview. Very interesting fellow.
I think they got a nice team there, and they got some tremendous growth plan. It's a lot of stores, 1,000. I think they'll get there. They know what they're doing.
I think so too. I mean, they have like a franchise machine, so you could say, and they definitely have a niche in the market. You always say, after we do these interviews, I always say, why didn't I think of that? So.
I had to ask that name about that question about the name.
Absolutely, absolutely. It shows you the power of brainstorming. They're very clever marketers. So that's great. Anyway, another great show, Don. Once again, go to the website franchiseinterviews.com, and again, you can hear some of the old interviews that we've done in archives. And again, if you're listening for the first time, subscribe to our newsletter. And again, next week we have another great show, Don. We got Pop-A-Lock, so that should be fun.
Pop-A-Lock, we'll get back to that top 25 new franchise list and some other good stuff. So you have a great day, Marty. Good show.
You too, Don. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks, Don.
Take care.
Overtime.